Singapore researchers could have a hand in developing an oral antiviral treatment for COVID-19, touted as potentially best in class. The country's Experimental Drug Development Centre, or EDDC, has signed a deal with pharma firm Everest Medicines to have what are called protease inhibitors developed into a drug. Now, these inhibitors are molecules that can stop the coronavirus from multiplying. For more, we're joined by Dr. Ang Hwee Ching, EDDC's Deputy CEO. Dr. Ang, tell us more about these protease inhibitors and how they work against coronaviruses, including the one that causes COVID-19.
Sure. Good evening. So to begin, the SARS-CoV-2 virus needs an enzyme called the 3CL protease to replicate and make more copies of itself. A 3CL protease inhibitor works by blocking the activity of the 3CL protease so that the virus can no longer replicate and spread in the human host. So that's how our 3CL protease inhibitor will work.
So Everest Medicines, which has secured the rights to the protease inhibitors, describes the potential drug therapy as best in class, which is, high praise indeed. What clues from preclinical trials do you think, point to this assumption?
Well, we have tested this 3CL protease inhibitor with known drugs, and we have seen already some better properties in the experiments, such as better binding, better activity in terms of better blocking of the enzyme. We have seen better killing in virus-infected cell. And also importantly, as we are developing this as an oral pill, we have seen that this pill is better distributed in the body so that more of the active ingredient is present where the virus is so that it can kill the virus much better.
So, Dr. Ang, this pill is still in development, and we understand that the centre discovered these protease inhibitors last year. How well might they work against newer variants like the one we're facing now, Omicron?
So we've chosen to work on the 3CL protease because this is the main protease of SARS-CoV-2, and it is conserved in other coronaviruses. What this means is it is very similar to 3CL proteases in other coronaviruses. So it's very likely to work not just for the variants that we now see, but as well it will work against 3CL protease for future coronaviruses, assuming that there are not too many mutations on the protease. So this still, of course, remains to be validated in experiments, but we are very confident that by the mechanism of how it works, it should work then against variants and future coronaviruses, which is why we started to work on this in order to be prepared also for future pandemics.
In a lot of the times, the proof of the pudding lies in the clinical trials. I understand that we are going to go ahead with these later in the year, and if all goes to plan, give us a sense on the timeline on when a new antiviral pill will be on the market.
So given the huge unmet need, the huge medical need, our partner is working as quickly as possible to drive the project forward, and they are planning to start phase 1 trial this year. But this is still some steps away from approval, so the drug will have to be tested in much larger populations, and then on the basis of the trial, get approval for it to reach patients. So what I can say is it's not going to be within this year, but certainly given the willingness of our partner, this will be moving forward quickly.
All right, Dr. we wish you the very best of luck in that regard. We've been speaking there with
Thanks very much.
Dr. Ang Hwee Ching, Deputy CEO of the Experimental Drug Development Centre.